Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Thea George and I'm here with Mike Thrower from Broadridge. We're at Sibos 2017 in Toronto and we're talking about risk, regulation and innovation. Mike, thank you very much for joining me.
Pleasure, Thea.
Tell me, what do you see as the opportunities for banks to drive profitable growth through innovation?
I think from the conversations we've had with many banks so far at Sibos, I think that there's a much more positive sense of where profitability is actually going to be in the future. However, we find a lot of financial institutions are still sitting with cost-income ratios, with return on equity that is below where it actually needs to be. And so we're finding we're having a lot of very interesting conversations with banks about how we help people really transform their cost base. I think there's still, whilst there's a more positive outlook, I think there's a real challenge there in terms of helping people to actually improve operational efficiency. So we're having some great conversations at Sibos about those things.
So turning to risk then, how do you see banks' risk frameworks facing up to the challenges that lie ahead?
Well, I think even though it's a more positive outlook that we're seeing from a lot of banks, actually the risk outlook still is quite challenging. I think the geopolitical risk actually creates a lot of certainty. I think a lot of organisations are still struggling to figure out things like what to do with Brexit. I think that we've had several years of globalisation, and now I think there's almost a balkanisation happening where we're looking at perhaps a more fragmented future. That means that there's greater risk and greater uncertainty in the future. So we're working with a lot of banks, say around Brexit, for example, to help them put in place better entity structures, better legal structures, better operational processes to meet a very uncertain future. So it's a challenging time when organisations are challenged by these difficult cost-income ratios to really invest in these sorts of things. So whilst positive outlook, actually there's still quite a challenge from a risk perspective.
So what about regulation? Obviously regulatory intensity is still with us. How can banks tackle those unending changes?
There's some mood music that suggests that regulation is actually going to reduce in the future, but we're certainly not seeing that. And so a lot of organisations are really looking at, rather than taking point-based solutions to handling regulatory challenges, that we're finding that people now want to have an enterprise solution that can meet multiple current and future reg change. So we're seeing people actually investing right now to deliver for regulations that are coming at them right now. So MiFID II coming next year, but SFTR the following year. People are wanting to put in place a more strategic infrastructure really for managing reg change. And so we're seeing a lot of people putting investment into today's budget for that uncertain and continuing challenged future really on the reg side.
Mike, this has been great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Thea. Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching.